Short-term rental self-management. I'm Dustin Taylor. We've got a few short-term rentals, and this is what I do. This is my business. I'm kind of here just to kind of walk you through self-management and short-term rentals as a whole. This one's going to be specific to short-term management, and just kind of want to give you an idea of what it looks like, how to do it, what tools I use, and kind of a few questions I get from different investors that come to me on a day-to-day basis. So let's get into it. Short-term rental self-management, you can do it from anywhere. That is a fact, and let's get into that. So a little about me. I am a real estate agent in the state of Georgia. I specialize in the North Georgia area, basically anything above Atlanta. I don't care for Atlanta, so I don't go down far that south. Um, I do own and operate 6 short-term rentals and 1 long-term rental across 3 states. That would be the states of Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. My closest property driving distance is 1 hour. My farthest is 6 hours. That's true. We actually have 2 that are 6 hours away. One's southeast, St. Simons, and the other one is in Kentucky. And this is just my wife and I that run our business. She does work full time. I don't want to say right at 40 hours, probably a little less, depends on the week. And yeah, I mean, we just run this just ourselves. There's nobody else that's kind of helping us out. We may leave for vacation and I may have someone take over, but that's twice a year ish, 3 times maybe, depending on what we have going on. My goal here is to give you as much information as possible to see if short-term rental investing is the right investment for you. Hopefully this helps, guys. You know, the more information you know, the better. I know sometimes it's kind of overwhelming, but give me some questions. Obviously, you know, like the video, and just kind of see if this makes sense for you and your financial goals and strategies. All right, why self-management? Let's get into it. The average property management companies will charge 20 to 30%. That 20%'s rough 20-25%. I've seen all the way up to 35%. Guys, 35%, I mean, there's no point of even buying that property, in my opinion. You're losing so much money to management for what you could do self-management wise that it doesn't make sense to even. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You will find your one-off guys that will do 15%. Average, just a rule of thumb, 20% short-term rental properties, 10% long-term rental properties. Obviously, that varies company to company, depending how many properties you have, but that's a general idea. I do believe that no one will take care of your property as well as I can. That's true. So, it's just like taking care of your house. I just don't think that someone would come in and care as much as I do for my own place to clean it, to maintenance it, to whatever, right? It's my investment. It's my hundreds of thousands of dollars going into something. If someone comes in and works for us, cleaning, lawn care, maintenance, whatever, they're not looking at it as their property. Yeah, I mean, you'll have good people that take care of your place, but you also have a lot of companies that, it's Friday afternoon. They've got an hour to get in there and get something done. They're just going to half-ass it. I mean, long story short. So you can do that if you want to, right? Like that's part of it. But I do believe that someone that's managing that and they put people into place that send them over there. For instance, if you have a property manager that calls out a maintenance person just for something small, they're going to hire whoever they have. Normally it's in-house, but it just depends on the management company. They're going to go out there. They're not really worried about the call out fee, and maybe $50, maybe $100. And to an extent, they'll have something fixed for, most property management companies, you'll sign something that says that I agree to let the management company fix whatever it is, as long as it's less than $300, $200, whatever that is, right? And I just think that's ridiculous as far as self-management goes. I love to hire people and have an idea of what my costs are up front, so it doesn't make sense for someone else to do that for me. All right. Personalized touch, messaging, guidebook, and recommendations. Yeah, so getting into messaging each guest, someone comes to book the property. They're like, hey, this looks like an awesome cabin. condo, whatever it is. I have messages that go out, and I just say, "Hey, listen, I'm glad you booked. I'm happy you're staying with us. Here's a lot of detail about the property. Here's our guidebook. We actually, my wife goes through and edits this guidebook. It's not Airbnb. Which Airbnb guidebook is what we use. We use something called, oh gosh, I don't do it, so I can't remember the name of it. I'll get there. It'll come to me. But basically, you can go through and just give them all recommendations of what we like. The favorite restaurants, favorite places to go hiking, sightseeing, to take our daughter to, and dog, whatever, right? Like for instance, restaurants. We love to take our dog wherever we go. Well, if they're not dog friendly, then we may choose a different option, right? But just to give people um, clarity. So that personal touch, I just think as far as a bigger company goes, you don't really get that. Every time we hear a lot from our guests that uh, we have a special touch. They enjoy the communication that we have. We're always kind of hopping on things as fast as possible. You know, um, and then yeah, just the recommendations of things to do around the area for each property. Okay, reading great reviews of people that you've never talked to, enjoy the property you worked so hard on. Guess some of these guests that I have, a lot of them, I have tools in place that I personally never talk to the guests, message them, text them, anything, and they check out and they leave this awesome review of how great whatever part of the property was, how much great communication we have, even though it's not even me communicating with them. And they'll say things about they love the decor, decorations, or whatever it is, and just hearing those things, and it's kind of going back to how long it took us to set up a property and do all these things. It's pretty. It's a blessing. So networking, local businesses, work colleagues, just anyone. Yeah. So you're able to tell people like, hey, I have this place. If you're ever interested, you can go see it. Let's say you're sitting down, I don't know, dinner, where if you're at church, whatever, and somebody mentions something about the beach, like, hey, we're taking a beach trip this summer. We're trying to figure out where to go. Well, hey, I have this place if you're interested. It's a two-bedroom, two-bath condo down on the beach, and we have people that will book it, but I'd be happy to have you go in there, stay down there. Um, just go check it out, give them some recommendations, and now when they go and stay at the place, if they actually like it, which they will, they'll tell their friends about it, and it just kind of keeps growing, and you just get your name out there, and eventually you'll have a brand. But it takes a little bit to get there as well. But even local businesses. So we'll have some businesses around the properties that we actually buy. Like for instance, in Blue Ridge, Georgia, there's a place called Mercier Orchards, and we'll have coffee mugs from those places with a little apple on it, and it says Mercier's, and we'll just put those in the cabin. So whenever they go, they can say, "Hey, that's cool. I've drove by this on the way here. Obviously, they care enough to put some kind of localized touch to it. So let's go check it out." Right. So it's us bringing business to them, and then vice versa. Like I know a couple owners of businesses, they'll actually send guests our way and just my information. So and just yeah, just anyone really, friends, family, work colleagues, whatever. It's just cool to kind of own something that you can tell other people about because it's really a business and you're just doing it on the side, but it's an easy business to work with in my opinion. So management skills for self-improvement or resume. Yeah, so I mean this could, if you plan to stay in a job or kind of grow in that job or move to the next job, um, yeah, put it on your resume, right? Like I self-manage my own properties. I've been doing this for 5, 6 years or whatever. And so that adds to your management skills, and you can just talk about the processes and skills that go into that management of that property. And I just say self improvement. I just mean, it's maybe something you thought you could never do or even be in a management role in the first place. So now you can just challenge yourself really to do the next thing. All right, cost to self manage. I think y'all are going to like this one. Okay. Yeah. $70 a month per property. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, compare that to 20-30% management company. And I'll break down the numbers here in a second. But yeah, I mean, just let that sink in. $70 a month. That's you're not going to Walmart for $70 a month, right? Like it's, I mean, whatever the cost is. I don't know why I use Walmart, but whatever. We have Aldi's, Walmart, Publix, Kroger. Just Walmart has everything, I feel like. All right, so yes, example. Um, let's say your property makes 8,000 this month. That's gross, right? That's what Airbnb, VRBO, that's all of your main number you're going to see, and then start breaking down expenses from there. 8,000 is well within reason of what all our properties do. Management company is going to take 1,600 a month, and you keep 6,400. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's see here. How did I break that down? Take 1,600. Yep, you keep saying. Okay, yep. So if you self-manage, you keep $7,930. Basically, you take that $70 minus the 8 grand. Sorry, I had one cup of coffee. I guess I need to. So, long story short, you save $1,530 a month between giving your property to a management company versus you self-managing. So now, you know, would you work for this? Let's find out. But I mean, $1,500 extra a month. That goes a long way and it adds up real quick every month. So let's see. So what's involved in self-management? All right, the best part about self-management is you can do everything from your phone. Guys, literally, I mean, right here, this guy. I hardly ever have my laptop unless I just need to, or it's easier to see the screen or whatever, right? But I mean, anywhere we go, that it's there. I mean, all my systems are in there. I have applications. Um, I just keep it charged up. So that's the best part. Is it's so mobile. You can do it at work. You can do it at home. You can do it on vacation. Whatever, right? The worst part is you can never leave your phone, right? So it's catch 22. But yeah, I mean, I always keep my phone on me. I'm a little better than this than my wife is, but 'cause she likes to get away from it, which is true. I hate being next to the thing all the time. But it's part of our business, and that's what's keeping us growing, and kind of has um, helped me to be where I'm at now. So I'm grateful for that. Average time spent on management, 2 hours a week. Obviously, this isn't exact. I haven't monitored my time on this, but I have a pretty good idea. It's roughly 2 hours a week. I mean, this is going from, I mean, some guests message you certain things that you respond to, and it's maybe a Google search or a quick just reply of knowing your property. Um, I have some that text me, some that call me. It's very rare that someone calls me, but it happens. It actually happened a couple of days ago just because they couldn't find the property. Like the only call I've ever had on this place that they couldn't find the property, but it was an older couple and they just maybe don't or are not familiar with I don't know, GPS, whatever. I mean, it's pretty much a way of the world now, um, but yeah, I mean, 2 hours a week, that's nothing. I mean, you're doing a lot of other things for 2 hours. Heck, you could be scrolling on your Instagram or TikTok or whatever for 2 hours in a week. You scroll way more than that, I'm sure some people do. But just to give you a rough idea of kind of where we're sitting. All right, so for the last example, would you work an extra 8 hours a month, 2 hours per week, right? Times four for $1,530. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they make here per hour, but $1,500 and $30 a day. Shoot, let's do those numbers. 1,530 divided by 8 is $191 an hour. Yeah, I'd be happy with that, right? I don't care where I'm at. That's a nice payday. All right, so we're gonna dive into some tools here. The most important tool, ready? It's your cleaner. Yeah, it's going to go a long way, especially the people that live hours away from the property because you just can't do it without them. And we'll go in detail. All right, your cleaners are your eyes and ears in the property. Um, First one's to see the home after the guest checkout. Last one to leave the home before the next guest. They're going to see what the last guest left, the shape of that property, and you're going to need to know uh, everything about it. Now, they're not going to see every single little detail. That's just, I mean, they're there to do a job. They're trying to knock it out as quick as possible, but also, do quality work. I get that. So you have to be lenient on a few things. If something was broken and they didn't see it for a while, and it may cost, if it's a light bulb, I don't know, just something small. It is not something to lose sleep over. So they're the last ones to see it before the guest leaves, so they can tell you whatever happened. If they had a party, or if I mean, I've had cleaners reach out to me and said, I don't even think anyone stayed here, which is crazy. Like, I mean, besides if the bed wasn't messed up, then they thought that no one ever stayed there. But they're also going to be the ones that leave the home before the next guest, right? So um, they're going to have everything set up. I'm not a stickler on this, but my wife is. She'll set up like pillows in a certain way on the couch, or I don't know, little knick-knack things, whatever it is, and she thinks that's part of the experience of walking into the home, which it is. I just, I'm not a stickler on that. So um, they leave those things exactly how we like them, and yeah, so they're a big tool. They need to have great communication skills. That's so true. Um, yeah, I mean, if you can't hear from the person that's there to be your eyes and ears of the property, then you might as well fire them and get a different one. Yeah, that's what it is. Because if you have no idea what's going on, then you're screwed. Like, that's not a good business. I mean, if you can't communicate with the only people that are making your business run, then don't move. I mean, you got to hire a different cleaner. Cleaners are far few between as far as they may lack in one area and be great in another. I personally, as long as they can clean the dang house and they have great communication, if they miss one or two little things here and there, we can work on that. As long as it's not a repeating process. So we've had fire cleaners in the past. Communication was a huge one, and I hate them not telling me anything. Like, I have to have something like that. I mean, a simple text takes a couple seconds, right? Property is done. Send. That, I mean, how hard was that, right? So, as far as like cleaner fees, I don't negotiate much with that, hardly ever, just because I have an idea of what the cleaning fee will be going into a certain market. And if it's within 5, 10, 20, I mean, it just kind of depends on what they're doing with the property, then yeah, I'm okay with paying their fee because they're going to want a certain payday. And as long as they do a good job, I'll keep paying it, right? Like, that's just, I mean, that's how I'm going to run my business. That's what they're asking for. Okay. Systems needed to self-manage. So yeah, all right. So there's a bunch of tools that you can use to self-manage these properties, and I'm just basically just going to lay them out. There's so many different softwares that you can actually use. I picked certain ones. I did some research, and I like to make sure all my stuff not core I guess correlates, right? Yeah, correlates with each other, so they just tie together, right? Like, I don't want 20 apps on my phone. I want like 4 or 5, and I can just boop, boop, and they're all just connected. So it's not messing with. But anyhow, here we go. Systems you need to self-manage. I may just got ahead of myself there, but this is 101 self-management. So anyhow, OTAs, online travel agencies, Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, etc. There's so many different travel agencies out there. Airbnb is our biggest moneymaker. Um, So, getting reviews on there and just making sure your property is one of a kind. They do a great job with marketing and really the entire process, in my opinion. And they take a 3% cut. I'll take, I'll give them 3% on every transaction and guest we have. It's completely worth it. I'll get some water. Hmm. I'm just going to click through these and I'll talk about them. Oh, all right. OTA management software. So this is where it's kind of a next step, next level. And let's do this. I don't think you necessarily need the management software if you're just buying one short-term rental. It's still very cheap. I think it's like $15 a month for this software. So it's still worth it in my opinion, but you don't necessarily need it. Once you go past one, uh, you have headaches, and this $15 a month is worth those headaches. Oh, let me tell you what that is. Sorry. So OTA management software basically is a system that is, so you have the Airbnb, you have VRBO and Booking.com, right? You list your property on each one of these platforms. So you have your own password on profile on each one of these, right? The management tool connects all of these. This tree diagram I'm drawing above my head here. They just connect everything, right? So all these systems and calendars and messages and all this stuff ties together. That's what management software is and does. Security system. I keep a camera on the front of the property by the front door just to make sure, one, I make it look at who is walking into the property, and two, who's all parking at the property and what that looks like. I don't have cameras anywhere else in the properties. With the OTAs, you have to disclose where those cameras are going to be at, and we just keep the one in the front. It hasn't been an issue. Um, if a guest complains about it, I'll just tell them, Lily, it's for security purposes, and it was disclosed, and you knew about it before you even booked the property. I mean, it's true. Dynamic pricing tool. So, if you don't know what dynamic pricing is, it's basically a way to automate pricing per demand. So every day, Airbnb does. I think they have a tool like this, but I've never used it. But when you set up your listing on your online travel agency, you can set every day to be a different amount, and you don't want every day to be the same amount. And the reason I say that is because, so watch, you got less people book weekdays, more people book weekends. So I will charge more on weekends than I do weekdays, right? Um, so instead of me manually going in there, putting in these little details of weekends, because some weekends are holidays, some weekends there's just stuff going on in the area. Instead of going in there and doing this every day or set it and forget it kind of thing, dynamic pricing does it for me. So I pay for a subscription. I use Price Labs, and it will. I think I'm getting ahead of myself because I have a different slide on this, but I'll touch on it some more. But it basically just automates everything. So you set certain prices in there, certain time frames. It looks at seasonality, it looks at demand, it looks at holidays, and it will tell you if you need to up your prices, drop your prices off of other comparatives to your house in the market. Smart locks. So there's all these different points, guys. You can use different um, vendors, and I use just certain ones because I found that they're the most reasonable. And like I said, I like to integrate everything together so they all match, and it's just less applications I have to log into. I use Sage Encode, which is on a different slide, but like I said, I'm getting ahead of myself, and I'll talk to that in a short. But anyhow, smart lock is cool because I basically have a lock on the front of each door, just one. Um, it ties to the Wi-Fi system, and I'm able to generate codes to that lock for security purposes, and only have them have a 4-digit code, which is normally the last 4 digits of their phone number. It goes to the lock. It's only for like our check-in time is at 4 p.m. I actually start at 3 p.m. just in case they get there a couple minutes before, so I don't have to log in there and do it. But all this is automated, and we'll get into that. So, and just the other idea is just I don't have I don't like just only use like a lockbox because then the guest gets a key, they lose the key, and then it's just a little bit extra headache that you don't have to worry about, right? Like I have, so I can have that. So I have lock boxes outside of the house. I'll have one that's on the other side of the porch, away from the doors. You can't even see it, and then that'll be a completely different code. And if somehow the power's out or the Wi-Fi is down, they can't get in, they can call me, message me, whatever. I can tell them that code so they can use a hard key to get into the property. I also put another lockbox completely somewhere else randomly on the side of the house or on a tree or whatever, because if that guest loses that key, now they can just tell me or the cleaner or whatever. And they just say, "Hey, we lost the key. We're so sorry." So now I can tell my cleaner when they get there after they check out, say, "Hey, go to this lockbox that I hid way over here. Use this certain code and put that key in this box." And then now that gives me time just in case there's another whatever mishap. I can get them to go make me another key. I can get whatever maintenance, whoever it is. I can get another key sent out there. So it's a backup of a backup. So I'm making sure that no one gets locked out of the property. They can definitely get into the property. So I just, being 6 hours from someone or whatever across the country, the less headache, the better. And having backups is key. So this is next level, but virtual assistants. Basically, they will take over all the self management for you. You're going to pay them. You're going to manage them. But this is where we're at in our company. I don't use them currently, and we're at 6 properties. But it is starting to get a pain to where I think it may be worth paying someone else to do this for you. The only thing that's interesting to think about, which is this is any business, if I'm not managing my properties, I'm managing someone to manage those properties for me. So at the end of the day, you're managing something, right? And it kind of depends on what your field of strength is. Like I know all my systems and processes. Bringing in more people, sometimes that's more of a headache than it is uh, a good thing, a gift. I don't want to say that. Anyhow, all right, tools I use. Basically, this is going to walk through everything on this list, but specifically of which ones I use of each of these things. So here we go. I am on Airbnb, VRBO, direct booking website. I have not ventured into booking.com, and VRBO is honestly, it sucks in certain markets, in my opinion. I've heard from others on booking.com, but I get so much scam on VRBO on most of our properties that sometimes it's not even worth the headache of going on there and putting the properties live. Um, I do have a direct booking website that is through Hospitable, and I'll get into that. So Hospitable.com is what I use for my management software. So Hospitable, like I mentioned before, the tree diagram, excuse me. It'll break down to Airbnb, VRBO, and my direct booking website, and it ties together all this stuff. And that's actually a different slide, so we're gonna save that till then. $15-$20 a month, worth it. SimpliSafe Security. There's plenty of different security systems out there. I think I found SimpliSafe through BiggerPockets, so shout out to them. That's how I've learned most of where I'm at now. And it's $10 a month for the subscription. It basically sends you or gets you. You can watch live video. You can go, I think, 30 days back for the $10 a month. You can pay more for longer, I'm sure, other stuff. But I just do the $10 a month subscription. So I buy from them. They make you buy a hub. So you put that in the middle of the house or wherever is convenient. That hub ties all of their different devices together to that hub. And then you have an app that controls all that. I have the outdoor security camera, which I plug it into the outlet somewhere in the front of the house. No one's ever really messed with that or anything, so that's nice. That camera has like a light on it, has a siren, all this stuff, but I don't use any of it. I just use the live mode feature that captures, I think it's like 2-minute videos every time there's movement. And there's the night mode that's on it. Let's see what else. I also buy with them. So the camera I think costs, don't quote me, it's over $100. I know, 150 maybe, just upfront fee. Also use smoke detectors with them, so that's pretty cool. Smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. So I have a property in Pigeon Forge that there's no vent for the oven top, stove top, And so that smoke kind of accumulates, especially people cooking whatever, bacon, something. So instead of open a window, all that stuff just kind of stays right there. I don't have the smoke alarm in the kitchen, but it's kind of outside of it. It's a little close. Maybe, probably I could move it, but anyhow, it'll go off, right? When it goes off, it sends a notification to my phone like within seconds. And if I ever see that thing come through, I'm immediately messaging the guest like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Right? Let me know. Like I know first instinct is call 911. At least that's what I hope most people will do. But if not, what's going on? Like tell me if it's just the kitchen stuff. Normally it is, and that's all it's been so far, which is great. But it is nice to have an idea or a heads up so I can just freaking drop everything and make sure my house doesn't burn down. Right? That's and I think that thing costs $30 plus the $10 a month for everything else. Carbon dioxide, same concept there. I started with so they have these little devices that you put on windows and stuff throughout the house. I guess it depends on whether you're in city or I don't know what certain areas, but most stuff we have is in the woods, not very strict security town, so the camera's good enough for me. So yeah, Price Labs. So the dynamic pricing I was talking about. This is roughly $15 a month per property. Just like all of these, this is all per property. Simply Safe, Hospitable. But Price Labs is what I use. It ties to my Hospitable and then breaks it down into my different OTAs. Um, and you can go through dynamic pricing, Price Labs, and it'll kind of give you an idea of where you sit in the market and what they think you should be at as far as what pricings you should be setting your home up with. This is like a this is a whole different PowerPoint presentation, but you're able to go in and play with this every single day. And I just it's one of those that you always are messing with and changing, and just like any business, you got to keep yourself in line of where you kind of sit with the rest of the comps of where your property is in the market. And if it helps to drop the price in the slower season and raise it in the peak season, then that's what you need to do, right? It's business. So, Slage Encode Smart Door Lock. So yeah, so this this is a different app that I use. I don't rarely mess with this app at all, but Hospitable ties to this app. When you open this application, it gives you the access to literally press a button, it locks or unlocks that lock, right, from afar, wherever you're at, as long as you have service and the house has Wi-Fi. It also keeps all of my access codes in there, so and they're automated through Hospitable, but it'll tell me like when the guest comes, when they check out. I don't get notifications from my phone for the guests, but for certain people like my cleaner crew, I'll like if they say, "Hey, listen, I was here for hours," I can go back to the lock and literally it shows me 30 minutes or whatever, right? Like I'm able to monitor my property from that far away and all the little details that I need to know and backup information. That those tools and systems kind of help me. Yes, I can watch the Simply Safe security cameras, but I don't really care to do that, and I never look at those anyways, unless something just really goes wrong. And I can just see the history of who went in and out of that house, right? So that's huge. Trying to think if there's any other details inside of that app worth mentioning. Don't think so. All right, moving on. Sensi thermostats, I use those for remote monitoring. So from afar, I'm able to control the heat, the AC, the fan. There's certain limits I put. So like I won't let the air conditioning go below a certain set point because you freeze over the unit and that causes $1,000 of damage. So I put a set point on there. Same thing with the heat that can't go over a certain amount. There's a cool feature in there that you can set. So a lot, houses if they sit for a couple of days, they get stagnant. The air, it smells weird. Whatever funky smell. A lot of my cleaners will turn a fan on, this circulating fan. Sometimes they don't, whatever. Well, there's a system or operation there that you can actually click to set like a timer or something like that. So long story short, every 15 minutes of every hour, for 15 minutes of every hour, the fan of the HVAC system kicks on. So that's what I have it set to. I think that's enough in my opinion. But for 15 minutes of every hour, 24/7. That fan turns on and it circulates air throughout the house, whether someone stays there or whether they're not. So I just think it just kind of refreshes the house, and if there is a stagnant, weird smell or whatever, it just kind of keeps it. Um, Smells good when you walk in. So it's just one little tool that I like to use with that. Um, and then I guess another big thing that pops up is I'll have cleaners in the middle of the summer that it's hot as crap outside, so they'll come in and turn the AC down all the way to 60, whatever. I'm okay with that because I get it. It's hot out. They may be sweating. They may have a lot of cleans, whatever. I've asked them and appreciate when they turn it back up to where you got it set. I would do that if I walked into somebody's house and did something like that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I forget. Whatever. Well, when they're gone, I can just go in there and cut it right back up. Right. So it's not blowing 68 and 90-degree day for 2 or 3 days while no one's there. Because that's going to charge me more money that I shouldn't be spending in the first place. And it's just a huge time saver. So Cincy is one of those things I just open up every single day. And if I see a property empty, I just go boop, 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 and done, right? 30, 40, whatever seconds it is, it takes me to do that. StayFi Wi-Fi monitoring. So this is something that I didn't use to part my third property, but I actually recommend to do it if you're going to grow from one to wherever you want to go. It's worth it. So StayFi it basically ties into, I always get this wrong. There's a modem and there's, what's the other dang word? Whatever it is. You have your cable or coax that comes into receiver, and then it goes to basically an extender or repeater. Um, Gosh, see, this is how tech savvy I am. Yeah, see if I can do this, you guys can do this. Gosh, why can't I think of it? Anyhow, this ties into your existing Wi-Fi, right? So no one has to log into the Wi-Fi that you had set up from whatever company, AT&T, Windstream, whatever. Um, so now this is like your own Wi-Fi monitoring system. So I pay $10 a month for this. I think it costs $150 just to get the device. But what this does is it collects guest information. You have guest information that comes through your OTAs, but I can collect every guest information on this thing. I can edit it. I can set it up however I want to. So there's a specific splash page that when you click on join Wi-Fi as a guest, it brings you to a page, and that page has a picture of the listing photo of my property, right? So that's what it is. I have a name of each property at the top. It says Wi-Fi. Oh gosh, I know while. Now you put your email in there, and you put the password that I have set up. So I already sent this password to them a while back, and you put in that information, press submit. Now you got free Wi-Fi, right? Well, what just happened is I collected an email, and I have emails from years and years of guests just going boop, 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 sending, you know, basically I'm collecting email information. So now what I do with that is basically go back to, and this is the next level, but I collect that and now I can market it to my direct booking website for them to come back and get a discount stay or whatever, right? So I can get them off the platforms if they want to, and they come stay for me for cheaper. Um, with StayFi, another cool feature is you actually know when the Wi-Fi goes out. So I get an email notification with like a big old red dot that says, red dot, Wi-Fi is down property. Whenever it comes back, green dot, Wi-Fi is back online, X property. So that's pretty cool. Um, what else is worth mentioning with that? That's it. Okay. Turno and Resort Clean. These are both cleaner communication applications I use. I don't pay anything for them. They basically just link to my Hospitable, and those bookings go straight to the cleaner. And so the cleaner now has the calendar of all my bookings that came through. So if they need to be there for a clean and they have the detail of all the properties, it'll actually tell them what the guest name is, how many people they have. So if like we do little things sometimes where somebody has a birthday and it's their 50th or whatever, and they ask for us to do something for them. We may ask our cleaner, like, hey, could you go out and buy them a cake and some balloons or something? And so now they have the guest information already, how many guests it's going to be, so they can buy this, this, and this. Just go put it. We'll pay, reimburse the cleaner and charge the guest for it too. We can also pay the cleaners through each one of these. I don't pay anyone for the turno, but I do use a cleaner that has Resort Clean that I pay them through. Let me get this out of the way if I can. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Stessa. So Stessa is basically a way to keep track of not really my income, because I don't use it. Income, I mean, Airbnb populates and the rest of them populate the 1098, whatever the tax form is, that says this is how much they paid me. So I have whatever total number. And so I just submit that with my CPA. So that's not that big of a deal. It's just one piece of paper. The expense side, though, that's what I definitely use this as. So I do have, credit card accounts and separate bank accounts that keep up with my expenses. But when you start adding properties, there's just so many expenses, monthly expenses, daily expenses, whatever that goes into it, that I like to keep track of those things. And it's a free app. All I do is take a picture. It's specific to real estate investors, not just short term. And you're able to take a picture. You say who the expense was for, date, amount, taxable expense type, and what's the last thing? Oh, property. Yeah, that's the huge one. It breaks it out all into each specific property. So if this property made this much, down here it will show this property expensed, or expenses on this property were this much. So come tax time, this software, like I said, it's free. At the end of the year, all I do is press tax, P&L, whatever, and submit, and it gives me a breakdown month to month, not like this long list of crap, but it'll break it up into each tax section, and it'll tell me, what I spent on each property for each month for the entire year. So I just press submit. It sends me an email, a couple minutes. I send that to my CPA. Boom, tax is done. That's huge help. There's some other expenses and stuff that can go into that, but that's the idea in the form, is to try to keep less headache for myself and just do those daily tasks like any business. We're talking picture, put a couple of information. That's it, right? So, and I always like to keep track of that. A lot of people don't, which I get it. But if you ever get audited, you're supposed to hold on to all these receipts and have just like all this stuff throughout your accounting system. So I do it properly, and that just makes me sleep better at night. RankBreeze. RankBreeze is an algorithm tracker. So I am able to, this is about $15 a month. So that's where this all adds up, right? I've got 15, 10, 15, 10, 15. I'm pretty sure that's right about 70. But yeah, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, right in there. Yep. So I just want to make sure that added up, because I told you guys $70 a month, which that's dead nuts. Now, obviously, you can pay more for all this stuff, but this is like the bare minimum, and this gets me by plenty with 6 properties. So imagine 1 or 2, you'll be fine. RankBreeze. So basically, breaking that down is, I'm able to log this system I pay for tracks my property on the Airbnb platform. So just like on Google, you want to be on that first page. If you're on page 10, nobody even goes to page 10. Okay. You know that, I know that. So the higher you are on the platform, the more clicks you're going to get on your property, the more people are going to book. Plain and simple, right? Anytime you Google something, you normally click on those first couple pages. Now AI generator up top kind of tells you everything you need to know anyways. And we don't even click on those links anymore. So same concept, is you want to be on the top page. That's what this does. So if I'm on page 10, I'm pissed. I'm screwed, right? Like, first thing is doing is I'm messing with prices, I'm messing with photos, I'm doing whatever I can to get me back to page 1, page 2, page 3. I'm okay with 1, 2, and 3. We want to be on 1, right? Because there's so many properties that people do scroll to a couple pages, and sometimes they just put in certain criteria, like certain X dates, and maybe those first 3 pages, nobody or all those properties are booked. So I will now be on page 1. So that first 3 I'm okay with. All right, let me take some sip of water because this is a big one. And guys, if y'all like this video, I don't, I love teaching other people about this. I mean, it's kind of what we're doing, what our business is, and it's crazy that we even got started into short-term rentals, but it's taking a leap of faith, and I just believe in throwing money into these investment tools, and I think this is a cool one because you can have vacation home, and also make money, which is sweet. And just talking about it's cool too. Like, hey, I have a property that people go stay in, and it makes money. Cool. If someone asks me questions, cool. If not, whatever. It's something just to have a conversation. So, all right. Hospitable. Hospitable.com is my OTA management software. Let's see. I could not run my business without this. That is true. Hospitable saves me so much headache. It's kind of crazy. And for what you pay for it, $15-$20 a month is a little ridiculous. So, Hospitable, don't take that as, hey, let's raise the price. I just think it's crazy. So, it's awesome. But there's other websites out there. Gosh, Hostaway, I think, is one. I don't know. I don't even do that. That's been a long time since I did that research. So I'm comfortable with what I have now. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna break this down. I really could not run my business without this, or I could, but it would be a full-time job, and it honestly would just not be worth it, in my opinion, to keep doing this. So this is like I would basically definitely pay more for it, but yeah, that's where we're at. So anyhow, hospital.com, like I said, it links all of your online travel agencies together underneath the same tree. It auto links calendars across all of them. So if you have a booking on Airbnb, it'll block the calendar dates for VRBO and Booking.com and my direct booking website automatically. I don't do anything. Auto links pricing across OTAs. I set pricings on Price Labs over here in this bubble. Price Labs goes to Hospitable. I pay both for. Hospitable shoots it to Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, direct booking website. Automated. I don't do anything there. The only thing I do is change Price Labs every now and then. That's it. Next. Auto links all door codes to Slage locks. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, sorry guys. There we go. All right. Auto links all door codes to Slage locks. So, I have a smart door lock, which I didn't get in the price of this, but they're about $300 each. They go on the front door. Kind of hefty for the price, but still worth it. This system, whatever platform they book from, the guest came from, they put in their phone number. Right? I require each guest has a phone number, an email, and ID verification. The very minimum they have to have. If they don't, they're not booking the place unless they have like 25-star reviews, and I can work with that. Slage locks, those connect to Wi-Fi. The last four digits of that phone number sends to Slage. So now this is their code to get into the front door. It's an easy number to remember. You don't have to put in 10 freaking numbers and your mom's last maiden name to get in the door. You go on there. This is all automated. Whatever platform it was booked on, Airbnb sends it to Hospitable. Then Hospitable sends it to Slage. Slage then creates this temporary code, which is the last four digits of the guest phone number, for their duration of their booking. So if they come in on the weekend, Friday at 4 p.m. is our check-in time. Sunday they check out at 10 a.m. That's our checkout time. It will only be used for that period of time. So if they show up at 3:50, 3:59, they cannot get into that property with that code. Okay. I've edited my systems because I run this all the time. Guests show up a couple minutes before. So what I did is there's a way to automate this. I can't remember if it's through Slage or Hospitable, but it's cool that you can change it. I set it up for 3 p.m., so an hour early, just in case they show up 30 minutes before. That's okay, right? Like I'm the property is normally clean by then, so it's okay, and I don't have to worry about that little extra whatever because it happens all of the time. And then it goes till 11 a.m. for checkout date. Some of my cleaners don't get there right at 10 a.m. Some do. Some get there earlier at 10 a.m. And it's on them really to get there after 10. But long story short, I get it. Yes, sometimes, especially at 10 a.m., some people just, you're on vacation. You don't want to wake up on Sunday morning early to start cleaning, get all these things done, which really isn't a lot, but um, to get all this stuff done just to get out of the property, and you may have like a 10-15 minute extra window. Like it happens. I've done it. Like I get it. We have a baby. That extra 10-15 minutes, like it's just one of those things, and I'm okay with accepting that. I just, if it happens every time, obviously there's something wrong. But anyhow, auto messages all guess. This one's cool. So Hospitable breaks it down like so Airbnb does this, but I don't think they don't do it as well. So I have multiple messages that go out that are automated. So when you book our property, a message goes out within 10 minutes. That's the time frame I have set. You can change all the stuff, time frame, whenever, days. But what I have is my first message goes out 10 minutes after you book the property. So boom, you book it. 10 minutes later, you get a message that says, and actually, I could probably, if anybody wants this, I'll send them what we send, like all of our messages. I mean, edit them how you want to, but that's what we do. So our first booking or our message goes out 10 minutes after the guest books. It said something like, "Thanks for your reservation. We're so glad to host you. Here is our specific guidebook, which is TouchStay. Actually, I didn't get into that, but that's what I was talking about earlier. TouchStay.com. My wife goes in there and basically creates a guidebook that we pay. We actually pay $12 a month for that. So you don't have to do that. Airbnb does that for you for free. We don't use that system, which we probably need to update, but we'll get there. And like this is all about making tweets. I mean, it's just a business. Tweaks, not tweets. I don't even think it's a tweet anymore. I think it's X, which I just found out. But where was that? Messages. So 10 minutes after they book, message goes out. It's our guidebook. Thanks for booking. Blah blah blah. But 2 days before they check in, they get another message that says address, Wi-Fi information, directions. All this was already on the guidebook that got in the first message, but a lot of people don't open it, so I send it out again. Right? That goes out 2 days before. I think at like 5 p.m., 4 p.m., something like that. What just happened? I don't know why. I just got balloons from my face, but whatever. Um, so the next message goes out 2 days before check-in. It's just all detail about the property, what you need to know, door code, Wi-Fi information. Anyhow, the next message that goes out is I think it's 8 a.m. I have it set for, or 9 a.m. the morning after they're already there. So that message basically says, "Hey, hope your stay's going great. Hope you get all checked in, and we want to know how the property looks. Did our cleaners do a good job? Is everything there that you need? Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, we actually direct them back to the guidebook that pretty much answers everything you need to know. But if you have anything specific or any details you want to tell us about the property, please tell us now." So this does a few things. So one, it tells us how our cleaners did, how they're doing. If we have the same, obviously, if we get the same repeating information back, we need to get on our cleaners' butts about it, right? Um, it also tells us basically tells us where we need to be at with cleaning in general, right? Um, but I lost my train of thought, guys. This is long. So cleaning, damn it, I lost it. It's lunchtime. I need some food. All right, I'll move on because I can't remember what I was going to say. So that's our next message is ask the cleaners how the property is, or how they did, and oh yeah, so that's kind of just keeping communication with the guests to say, um, yeah, that we're trying, that we're actually asking, we're being considerate, we're seeing everything is because there's a lot of different management companies out there that once you book the place, that's it. They send you all the information that at the booking, and they don't check in during your stay. They don't check in after your stay. That's it, right? So that goes back to like the personal touch. Moving on before I forget what else I was thinking. So our next message goes out the day before they check out, and it's around 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's our checkout information. This kind of just gives you a rough idea of checkout time again. where to put the trash, what to do with the bed sheets, towels, etc. Each property is a little different. And the review message. So after the checkout, I know on Airbnb specifically, the checkout day around 3-ish p.m. This isn't exact, but 3-ish p.m. After they check out, they're able to leave a review. Well, if my cleaner's already been there, which they should be, job's done, or at least having an idea of how the property and condition is, then I can just go to that review message and I'll press send on it. So I'm sending a review message before and leaving them a review before they leave me one. And it literally says that I'm leaving you a 5-star review. Please leave us a 5-star review. And there's some other wording in there, but that is the idea, because we want to catch the 5-star review up front, and that's it. That's the messaging. So if you have any other questions on that, there's a lot that goes into there. I can send you all of what we have. Everybody does a little different. I've told people that, or I've given people the same information that we have as far as messaging goes. And some people use it, some people tweak it. It just all depends. Auto lease review. I just talked about that. Okay. Communication to my team, cleaners, maintenance, trash, lawn care. So Hospitable has a messaging system. Actually, let's break it down. They have a team system, and you go click on my team, and then you add all of these people that work for your team on that property. I use Resort Clean and Turno, those softwares I told you about, cleaning communication, and it links calendars already. This is a backup to that. So I can set up an email or a text message to any of these people on my team, and if there's a new booking, if there's a change booking, if there's a cancel booking, then we can send all these messages out automatically, right? So I don't have to go in there and remind the cleaner, hey, don't show up on this day. Because if they do, then now it's really my fault, and they may charge me an extra $50 for even driving out there. I don't know, something stupid. So you can also add like co-host people to this. I put my wife on here just to keep up with our stuff. Yeah, okay. I also use Hospitable to create my direct booking website. Guys, we just did this, so it's still in beta testing for me. But as far as the setup process goes, it was like the easiest freaking thing ever. I mean, you pay an extra $5 per property to have a pretty sweet direct booking website, in my opinion. If you go to my Instagram or YouTube or Facebook channels, I'll have that direct booking website on there. It's oh gosh, Tailored Stay Properties. That's how new it is for us. I can't remember the name of it, but Tailored Southern Stays. That's what it is. But yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I think it took me. Go check it out. Long story short, it probably took us 30 minutes to create, or less, maybe 10, and $5 a month. And it's not just creating the website. That's one thing. The other thing is monitoring the website, right? So now instead of going to a different um, website, creating manager, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what that's called. They create your website. Now you have to do bookings, you have to do deposits, you have to do leases, you have to just all this stuff, right? Hospitable already does that, and they make the website for an extra $5 a month. So, I mean, yep. So, $15 to $20 a month per property. All this for that. That was a lot of stuff, because I mean, I lost my train of thought going through everything, right? Like, I mean, I've got messages and all this stuff coming in, which I need to get on, but whatever. Um, yeah. So, one property, you can pretty much get by without this. But once you get two, really the biggest thing that I think this helps on is the messaging. So, I mean, from just comparison of Airbnb to Hospitable, just using auto messages. Let's just talk about that. Airbnb lets you automate messages, but once you get two properties, that same auto message, you cannot change it to go like so. It's an automated template, right? Let's say message, and then if it goes to two different properties, right, you got two legs. It's actually one leg in a sense, because if you change this piece at all, it's going to go to both properties, right? So I don't even know how to draw that. One message to both properties same time. If you change it, it goes to both properties. With Hospitable, every single message you're able to edit. So if I have two properties and one of them, I don't know, the way I think about this, I'm trying to make it not sound automated. I want it to be personal. I want it to make sound like it's me talking to them, not just some system. So if they had just asked me a specific question about where does the trash go, and my message goes out and says, "Hey, by the way, if you're wondering about the trash, it goes here, whatever." It's like that. That sounds weird. That sounds automated. So I'm able to go in there and literally just delete whatever in there, and add in whatever I wanted to say. Right. So, um, so that's a big one. I see the difference on the Airbnb and Hospitable auto messaging, but some people may not care that much, but I do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in Hospitable. There's a lot in there, guys. It's a very easy platform to work with. Um, and if you have any questions on it, I mean, obviously reach out, ask me. I'm an open book with it. I'll tell you all the bad things that I've accomplished. There was like one or two little hiccups when I first started that I went back to their support team, and actually, to be honest, they're very fast on their support, their tech support. So that's huge too. Right? That there's something that was going. So, for example, the door code automates the last 4 digits of number, and they messed something up in their coding or whatever. Anyhow, instead of sending that, it said, "Guest communicate to the host about door code. This didn't work. Whatever." It was just all capitalized. It was like this big thing that stood out in the message. I was like, "That is not what I want. I'm trying to make this personal." And I got onto them about it, and they were like, "Oh, we're so sorry." And I mean, they had it fixed that day, right? So, long story short, yes, I mean, every technology piece is going to have hiccups, but at least they're on it. Like that, that's what I need. I just need the help and support, and for that price, it's worth it. All right. Long story short, do you think you can manage now? I really hope this was helpful. I don't even know what's on the slide. Yeah, was this helpful? What other questions do you have? How can I help you find your next investment property? So, yeah. How do I just don't know? I don't know. Yeah. So, guys, I mean, do you think you could self-manage now? And so, all these tools, there's so many different softwares and systems out there you can integrate into. You don't have to use all the stuff you don't want to, right? It's just stuff that I've kind of try tried, and some worked, some didn't. So I spent a lot of time researching into all this because I knew getting multiple properties, it was going to help with the headaches so much better. And I mean, you saw it, $70 a month is crazy. I mean, less than $100 a month to manage a property is, I mean, ridiculous versus paying someone a couple grand, right? So there is some time that goes into it. Don't get me wrong, every week's different. That sometimes I have something happen, but at the end of the day, so let's say the AC goes out of the house. Okay, the property manager, they're going to call you. Hey, what do you want to do? Or they may send someone out, right? So they're going to charge you to send someone out. So let's say that was $100 service fee to go out there just to inspect it. Okay, they're going to choose probably whoever because it's less than or the amounts that you agree on as far as sending someone out. So there goes $100. Get someone out there. Then they're going to call you and say, "Hey, this is how much it costs." What if you want more than one quote and that quote was like 10 grand? AC system shouldn't cost 10 grand. I don't know what market y'all are in, but air conditioned outdoor unit should cost me around six ish, depending on how much work needs to be done. Brand new outside. If it comes in at 10, first thing I'm going to do is tell them, "Hey, I need another quote." Well, they're going to do, they're going to call a different company. They're going to charge another $100. So you get three different quotes. That's $300 and you're not getting shit done. Right. So I can do that same damn thing in actually a faster time frame. I can call up three different companies, ask them all the questions I need to know, and I can send one specific one out there and ask all the questions I want to, and they can go out there and look at it. And then then they have to work with the HVAC guy to get them scheduled. They have to do all the scheduling around the guests. It's not that difficult, right? If the AC goes out and I can get somewhere out there that day, or if I call three different companies and none of them get out there, I'm calling more companies, right? And I think it's worth the headache. But how often does that happen? Rare, right? I mean, I do pay like for an annual fee, I guess, for HVAC company to come out there and check on the unit. Yeah, it's worth it because you're supposed to have that done anyways every 12 months, just to clean out lines, check contactors, just all the stuff, right? Clean up the unit. I know you're supposed to spray it, um, check free coolant that's in there, refrigerant. So yeah, I mean that's just one example. What other questions do you have, guys? I mean, there's a lot here. I think there's hopefully this. I mean, it helped. You know, there's a lot of information, but there's more stuff I can get into a deep dive. This was supposed to be just a one-on-one. I think sometimes I get ahead of myself and start talking a little too detailed into certain pieces. But to be honest, I think that's a good thing because if I was on the other end of the boat, people normally like I've listened to some guys talk about the stuff before, and they'll say, "This is the system I use. This is what it does," and they move on. And I'm like, damn, it'd been really nice to know a little more detail and experience that that person's went through. So if you have a question about that or a specific software and then I know an answer, I'll let you know. If I don't, then I'll tell you I don't know the answer. Um, and how can I help you find your first or next investment property? Yeah, so I am a real estate agent in North Georgia. I specifically deal with investors, especially short term. Obviously, long term multifamily, I can still work on all those with other investors. But short term, since I'm heavily involved in it, I'm invested in it, I believe in it. That's what I do. That's why I became a licensed agent too, is because I could not find anyone when I was buying properties. Um, one of my properties I bought, she did a great job. It's the agent I use in Kentucky, and I'll be happy to refer you to her. She already has short-term rentals. She can walk me through a whole bunch of things. And any questions I had about that market, she was on it. That's what I need. And as far as especially an investor that's getting into short-term rentals, you can't just work with the average agent. That's what I was doing. I was working with all these agents that you kept asking questions, and they had no experience in the space, so they would beat around the bush, and you could tell it. And I have nothing to compare it to. I can't like it just sucks. Like, why not try to work with someone that's already in a place that you want to be, right? Like, even if the person had one short term rental, they could at least tell you a little bit about it. If they don't have anything and they've never even, I mean, they've sold a couple to people, but don't even follow up with them either, they're not going to know, right? It's just anything. If you don't have experience in something, why would you, if you're going to do something, or how do I put this? If, uh, if a job interviewer is asking you about your experience, you have none, why are they going to hire you, right? Same thing looking for an agent. So, not selling myself, but I am selling myself too. Like I like working with investors. I think I can help them. I can answer a lot of questions, and you know, the self management piece of this I think is just huge because there's a lot of money to save, and people leave a lot of money on the table using management companies. But hey, there's people out there that are making a lot more money than it makes sense for them to put the headache into management, and I get it. Hopefully, we'll get there in someday, but this is what we're doing now. So, if you have any more questions, of course, let me know. I am an agent in Georgia. If all this information is free, guys, I'm just putting it out there. I just want more information for you of my experience, what I've learned. But you know, if I can also help you buy a house here and we can walk through some properties, I'd be happy to do that as well. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all, and please go follow me, whatever social page that is, or YouTube. I'm gonna break all this down, and hopefully we can get something rolling for y'all. Peace.